financially mostly, from what I see. Because it's all about everyone wants to be a big shot, but they got to pay the price. They have to know how to handle defeat.
If I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference, almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous.
To that, I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight.
Mike Tyson isn't pulling any punches in responding to Jake Paul's latest bold claim about beating Gervonta "Tank" Davis. The former heavyweight champion, famed for both his brutal honesty and devastating power, blasted Paul after the YouTuber-turned-boxer suggested he could topple one of boxing's most feared fighters. While Tyson has at times shown support for Paul's boxing journey, he stressed that sharing a ring with a pound-for-pound talent like Davis is no joking matter. He also stressed the vast gap between internet celebrity and true elite boxing greatness, warning Jake not to underestimate the challenge ahead.
Quite surprised because it sounded like Jake Paul and Joshua was getting closer and closer for January. However, there have been rumours of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul in the past. I think with Gervonta Davis's kind of legal problems in the last month or so and rumours about his retirement, I don't think it's a massive shock that he is taking this Jake Paul fight if it is going to go ahead, purely for the reason that it's a lot of money for maybe not the most difficult job that he's going to have in his career. So it's a strange one, but yeah, it's just another kind of day in the sport, really, isn't it?
The highly anticipated matchup between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis is set for November 14th at the Casa Center in Miami, Florida. Originally planned for Atlanta, the fight was relocated after the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission raised concerns about the significant weight disparity between the two competitors.
Oh my days. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Is this real? This can't be real. Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight. And now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if the main pages have posted this. But Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. This is random, no?
Jake Paul steps into the ring boasting a record of 12 wins, 7 by knockout, with only 1 defeat. He has transformed his influencer status into a legitimate boxing career, using high-profile crossover bouts and savvy business moves to build both his resume and his brand.
People are so fucking insecure. Kind of lost myself in the whole entertainment world. And so when I found boxing, it gave me that routine, that discipline. I got to take time for myself in these boxing camps. And every day for training, I had to meditate. And boxing gave me the ability to reflect on myself and realizing who I was and who I wanted to be. And that helped me mature. You get addicted to that validation from others. And that's something that I realized that I had to face. Why do so many people want clout? I'm not good enough. I need followers. I need likes. It's driving a lot of our generation because they're working so hard to get this external validation.
Rules of a professional bout, such as round structure, weight limits, and other regulatory requirements, remain flexible and subject to negotiation depending on which commission ultimately sanctions the event.
25 is after next year, I'm out of it.
After our second fight. You're out of it?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
Out of the sport.
After our second fight. Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro.
Nah, I could tell you my fights.
Who do you think will win between Jake Paul and Gervonta?
But I don't know. It should be Gervonta, right? But the weight size and everything, we'll see. It's a fun entertainment.
Mike Tyson, who has already shared the ring with Jake Paul, has reportedly urged him to approach the upcoming showdown with Gervonta "Tank" Davis with extreme caution. Tyson understands firsthand the pressure and intensity surrounding Paul's fights, but also recognizes the serious danger of facing an opponent as skilled and explosive as Davis. While Paul may enjoy advantages in size and youth, Tyson warns that Tank's speed, technical precision, and knockout power make him a threat regardless of the weight difference. His comments suggest that Paul could be underestimating the challenge ahead. For Tyson, the bout may generate massive publicity, but he emphasizes that Jake must weigh his legacy and long-term health against the very real risks of stepping in with a fighter of Davis's caliber.
I think Gervonta Davis is probably the greatest fighter around now, but he's got a tough fight coming up. You know, he's the top dog. There's no doubt about it. He showed that. But Barrios, he's a pretty good fighter. Last time I saw him fight, he was pretty durable.
Eddie Hearn has raised major concerns over Jake Paul's upcoming clash with Gervonta Davis, insisting it's far more serious than a mere spectacle. He warns that the fight is dangerously unbalanced in terms of size, risk, and safety, and that Paul could leave the ring with lasting physical damage. While Hearn acknowledges the massive financial incentives and the intense public interest surrounding the bout, he argues that the mismatch could lead to a punishing defeat that might derail Paul's future plans, especially a potential showdown with Anthony Joshua. He emphasizes that, despite the enormous commercial appeal, the danger is too real to overlook. Although he labels the fight a 50-50 proposition on paper, Hearn's message is clear. Jake Paul is risking much more than his record. His health and well-being are truly on the line.
We know that Gervonta's going to fight Jake Paul in November, and then we'll see what happens if there's an AJ fight. Be interested to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, but I don't think the Chavez fight is terrible. I think it's a smart bit of business.
I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua. I think that's the only reason we're going to see this fight. But I truly believe you're going to see it at the beginning of 2026.
Carl Froch, former super middleweight world champion, has raised serious safety concerns about the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis exhibition, citing an estimated 65 pounds weight gap between them. Froch notes that Jake Paul has recently competed near the cruiserweight limit, about 200 pounds, while Davis fights at lightweight, around 135 pounds.
I mean, I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. Swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he's just so much wrong. It's just everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, who's a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level. And then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different sport.
My name was mentioned at his press conference and he shit himself. And the fight was just absolutely fucking diabolical. Again, I've said before, he's not a professional boxer. He never will be. And he proves time and time again that he's not a professional fighter. So, Jake Paul, go on, piss off.
Froch argued that in a legitimate boxing scenario, this fight would never receive a license due to the extreme risk involved. He emphasized that Davis has never had to withstand punches from someone with Jake Paul's size and mass, warning that even a single heavy shot, especially one delivered with a full swing or from the hip, could inflict serious damage.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode. But hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in. And I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share, and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Ferocious on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Though Froch believes Davis has the technical skill, movement, and pacing to control parts of the fight, he doubts Davis has enough power to decisively hurt Paul. Still, the unnatural weight advantage held by Paul makes the contest dangerous in Fraka's view.
The exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay. So there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite. He could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay.
Meanwhile, unlike most critics, Chael Sonnen doesn't see the matchup as nearly as lopsided as others suggest. Speaking on his YouTube channel, he remarked, "It's not as bad a fight as you guys think," drawing a clear distinction from the previously rumored Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua bout. However, Sonnen did highlight one major drawback: Davis's lack of promotional skills. According to him, Tank struggles to sell or hype a fight, whether it's a title bout or a main event, which could make the matchup less compelling from a marketing perspective.
If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, if he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that, you'd be like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer.
Joe Rogan has consistently defended Jake Paul's legitimacy as a boxer, arguing that much of the criticism stems from Paul's celebrity background rather than the quality of his performances. He notes that Paul has demonstrated clean technique, real power, and effective offense inside the ring, with nothing in his fights suggesting they are staged or fundamentally flawed. Rogan believes that even Paul's early detractors are slowly beginning to recognize his credibility as a legitimate fighter.